What's up, lovers? Welcome to another episode of Hyper Heroes here on Hyper RPG. We are so freaking exhausted.
What's up? Speak for your damn self,
I know.
Adam. I'm okay.
We're still on
You're
all
sick.
on
Shut your mouth.
I'm sick, so I'm exhausted in that regard.
Right.
But I took a nap this afternoon.
Yeah.
And
No
you
nappies for me.
went and saw a concert last night.
In San
went
Diego.
went to bed at midnight.
Wait, let's
a train at 6.
He got off of the plane ride from
Yeah.
hell, and
Yeah.
then went to a concert,
Yeah.
and then got
yeah.
on the train, and then what else?
Waking up at getting on this train at 6 a.m. coming here and not really sleeping the rest all of today. You were just like I don't know what you were doing.
Dying.
Being
just
Adam.
dying.
Just dying.
And then we just watched the first episode of Titans.
How was it?
Uh-huh.
It was good, man. You were in the room and you were taking a snooze. You were nappy.
We started the episode and like literally 30 seconds in, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this show looks...
Yep. You were donezo.
And
Absolutely
it's not
donezo.
a critique on the show.
No,
No.
it's not.
This has happened before. Augie and I have told Adam, like, you're gonna fall asleep, dude, and you were like, baby's in the crib. And we were like, you're gonna fall asleep. You were like, no, dude. And then sure enough, we're watching the show and I look over and Adam's like
And then after...
just eyes closed. And I'm
Wake
like,
up!
dude, I'm about to flick you in your pee-pee to wake you up. But
There was no pee-pee flickage, though.
But
No
pee-pee flickage.
so
Sadly.
Adam is a little he needs some
Tired.
sleep.
He needs some memes.
You're lacking some
Yeah.
hours. Plus, you're gonna go see Halloween later tonight.
Yeah.
Super
Yeah.
excited about that because it's your numero uno
Mhm.
movie.
I can't wait to
But
sleep through it.
what? Yeah,
You're totally
going
gonna
to.
sleep through it. Yeah.
But it was the second time I watched the Titans first episode. The second episode's going to be on the platform in like 5 hours or
Yeah.
something. Like they're about to put it on there.
Mhm.
And it's the first time you watched Titans. Should we talk
Yep.
about that now, real quick? Before we
Sure.
Is
get
that
to-
on the lineup tonight or not?
Talk about it.
Let's
We'll talk about it?
Yeah,
Well,
let's talk about it.
Okay, so I was actually surprised. So once
Yeah.
again, I keep saying this a lot, but I felt like the show was not going to be great, and I would hate sounding like a Debbie Downer when
There-
it comes to
there-
this kind of stuff.
People online have been saying the marketing has not been great.
No, no.
People, as soon as the show went live, people were like,
Right.
oh, like there's been a lot online of going, oh, this is actually really interesting, and
Yeah.
the characters are really good, and it's shot really well, and
Yes.
if anything, the marketing has made me feel that this isn't what that show was going to be.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like the marketing makes you think the show is going to be something else, so that's why people went into it going like, this is going to suck. And this has been an interesting case of like, has the marketing helped or hurt the perception of the show?
You know what? I was looking at it, though, and as far as marketing goes, they're just going straight forward with just like, I feel like it's pretty standard marketing with as far as like TV shows go and things
Mhm.
like that. And I knew what to expect coming in, like the tone of the show that they were setting, the iconic "fuck Batman" line, like all of that stuff. But as soon as the show started, I was actually it made me feel good watching it because it felt like they were putting a lot of time and effort into the show.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the writing was a little bit wonky, like the placement of the "fuck Batman" line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get it. Like, I get it that they needed to put it somewhere, but
Yeah.
the way they just tried to like shoehorn it in there after he like beat all those dudes' asses,
Mm.
nobody was paying attention to him, and he goes,
Yeah.
"Fuck Batman."
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, all right, cool. That's where you put it. Fine, whatever. Throwaway line. Never have to worry about that one again.
Yeah.
Overall, though, I thought it was pretty good. Some of the acting was by the girl who plays Raven.
Right.
A little weak.
Yeah. And but Brenton Thwaites, who does Dick Grayson, I thought he did a good job.
Good. Yeah.
The actress who plays Corey, aka Starfire, I think
Yeah.
is the best part of the show
I
so
agree.
far.
I would
like
agree with that.
really, really great.
Yeah.
And then the Beast Boy tease at the end was awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like
I was my only. I'm gonna sound like I'm complaining a lot, but I enjoyed the show.
he did.
Yeah.
To his credit, he like when we were done, you were like, that was pretty good.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But I feel like the way Beast Boy transformed was not
Mhm.
effective for a Beast Boy form of fighting. You know,
For a superhero.
because his thing is like I'm a tiger, I'm a
Yeah.
bear now, and I'm
Yeah.
an eagle. Like
Yeah.
he'll go and like
Yeah.
change into different animals.
Yeah, I'm a kitty now.
Yeah.
Check out my
I'm a
kitty now.
Yeah, exactly. He'll turn into animals really quick back to back to be an effective fighter, so he
Yeah.
can have different fighting styles. But it took him like a good 30 seconds to like get out of tiger mode, and it's
Mhm.
he still had like a tiger face at the end.
Mhm. It was very much like an American Werewolf in Paris.
Yeah, I
type,
see the
or an American
parallels.
Werewolf in London type transformation
yeah,
where it's like
yeah.
a slow monster thing. And it's because
I
the whole
get it.
show is really dark.
Yeah,
Raven is like that version of the character has felt more like the exorcism of Emily Rose than Raven has ever appeared
Absolutely.
in any, whether it's comic books or cartoons. When that character has said, like, my father's a demon,
Right.
you're like, oh, that's fun, that's cute.
Yeah.
And you don't really consider it because it's a comic book or a cartoon background.
Right.
When you watch a human actress go through what she's going through and she's basically possessed, you're like, oh shit, like she's
it gives it
dark.
that kind of realism.
Yeah,
like,
it gives it that like supernatural, you know, more than like superhero.
As far as things that scare me, so I like watching horror movies, but things that don't scare me are like slasher movies.
Mm-hmm.
So the Halloween movies are great,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't scare me. The things that really scare me are demonic things like that, like ghosts and spirits and
What
all
was
that
the trailer
kind of
that
stuff.
you watched right before we
La
started watching?
Llorona.
La Llorona.
That was such a good
That
trailer.
shit was crazy.
Yeah, The Curse of La Llorona. That shit was crazy.
I watched it earlier, and I was sitting at the desk, and Emily was sitting next to me, and all she heard was me going, nope, nope, I'm out.
When the
nope.
windows started
Yeah.
rolling,
Yeah.
yeah, that was crazy. So I agree that her effectiveness in the show, or what she brought to the show, was great. The acting was just subpar for me. But let's talk about Starfire, who I think was the best part of the show.
Yeah.
I think it was really cool how we don't really know much about her, but we know she can pop off in any language she kind of wants immediately.
She's
So-
like Jason Bourne.
Yeah, exactly.
Like she had,
Jesus
you know,
Christ.
yeah,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
Jason Bourne. We're gonna have so many inside jokes that people are not gonna understand.
That's a pretty easy inside joke to understand, guys.
Yeah, it is.
The joke was that when we were in Europe, anytime I heard a European siren,
Or
it was
any loud noises.
Yeah, it was like a cop or like a ambulance or something. I would be like, Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne. That was my joke. That's it. Every single time.
It's funnier when you were there and you saw it and you lived through it. But yeah, Starfire did seem sort of like an international woman of mystery. You know, like it was really cool to see her power set pop off as well. 'Cause she just incinerated a dude
I feel love.
with that music. Yep.
Yeah.
That revised disco version, or
Yep.
the techno version of
Yep.
that old school song. What else? I think that was kind of it. I kind of want to watch the next one.
It was definitely a slow burn pilot.
What? It's something in my eye.
It's so funny is the whole time we're talking about this, Adam was in the room,
I
but he
know.
was just asleep.
He's
He's
like-
listening to us and he's like, "No, I had no idea that was in that fucking show." Okay.
One time he woke up, he's like, "Haha, yeah," and
we
then
were
he went
like,
right back to
"Adam,
sleep.
It's like, Adam, shut up! Don't pretend like he did something
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
like no, you're not watching.
No,
it.
you're not watching.
He
You don't
was
know.
a-
You don't know nothing.
He was
You don't know
asleep.
my life.
He was
You don't know my
asleep.
life.
Otis Cunningham says Starfire has an attitude, which I liked. And there's lots of comments. People are talking about the show right now. They dropped a Joker reference. David G
Of
says
course.
when Dick Grayson's like, "I work alone,"
Yeah,
and some other cop
yeah.
in the Detroit precinct was like, "What happened to his last partner?" And some
Oh,
other cop
yeah.
was like, "I don't know, he
That-
was gassed by the Joker. I don't know who
That I
knows."
was awake for.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were awake for that. That was in the beginning.
Yeah.
I-
I do like the way that they portrayed the death of his parents this time, because
In the
it
beginning.
felt
Pretty sad.
really- yeah, it was pretty sad. It
Yeah.
was, I don't want to say it was graphic, but you really felt like the immensity of you know, he was supposed to catch both of his parents. And he
Yeah, it's a
wasn't
lot of
there.
responsibility to then
Yeah.
be like, never mind.
Yeah.
Stormy Boy says, I don't like what I've seen of Starfire so far. That's fair. I mean, it's only been the one episode. And Stormy Boy follows up with, but only the first episode.
Yeah.
I think Starfire is in a pre-Star Bolts stage of her powers. I guarantee eventually those flames will turn into green plasma, says Megaloblazamon.
There's some set photos that came out that shows some of those characters in like their later costumes.
Yeah.
Wait,
what do
did
you
they
think?
show Starfire? Because I really wanted to get at
Yeah.
the prostitute costume. Like,
Yeah.
I just want her away from that.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think
and,
that's a
and
fair
get
criticism.
her into the.
That's a
Yeah.
fair criticism. A lot
Yeah.
of people have made that criticism of like, you know, yes, I do have a cold. Jamar Shadow, that's right. There was a Dr. Fate Easter egg. Ronan, really? All right, let me know. I may have missed that. And then Seawolf 201 says, to be fair, we're used to the cartoon Goofy Starfire instead of the DC Comics more serious Starfire that the show has put in. I get that. I think that the DC Comics one isn't as serious as this live action show still.
Right.
Some like it's kind of the medium of the cartoon innocent version and this version that we're getting in this show where like she killed some dudes and was like and then walked out of the room. But it's a fair criticism that people were like, it sucks that early promotional material Starfire looks like she's a prostitute because
Right.
she's kind of supposed to, because she's like
Yeah.
undercover or something. Like
we
and
don't know
she-
yet.
We don't know yet, and she was like tricking these Russian mobsters or something into thinking that she was a prostitute, so she
Right.
could get information or some kind of intel or something, some sort of power over them.
Yeah.
Because she's also looking for Raven.
Right.
And so it's this thing of like, we don't know what's going on, but it's just a bummer that a lot of early Starfire stuff is like, she looks like a prostitute.
Yeah. Yeah.
When people care about that character is important to young women.
Mhm.
That character is somebody who has a lot of her own agency in the past couple years in the
Right.
comics, I think because of the cartoon and because
Right.
like she's moved away from being a character who sometimes is used as like, oh, I don't have any clothes on, but that's the way we do it on our planet,
Right.
which is very eye-rolling. Where you're like, okay, so a
mhm.
bunch of dudes are writing
A
her
bunch
and
of
drawing her.
happen to be very sexy looking ladies that are just naked all the time.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
To move to like, I'm Starfire, this is my life, this is what I do, I have my own agency, boom, boom, boom.
Right.
And then we cut to this version of the show, which is still kind of that, but she looks like a prostitute. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
And
it's
then-
like,
And then it's just unfortunate how they just try to be progressive by like making her African American, but
True.
then they turn her into a prostitute. I'm like,
right.
can we get away from that? Like,
Right.
is that a connotation
And
you
if-
want to be making?
And if we are getting away from it, how many episodes in? Like, do
Exactly.
we have to wait until,
right,
you know
right,
what I mean?
right.
So,
Until like, is this gonna be
it's
like?
fair.
Is this gonna be like an end of the
Yeah.
season? Like, she's gonna be wearing the same
Here's
outfit,
my real
Episode 11.
costume.
Daredevil type of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the chat room are also asking if we've seen the premieres for some of the other shows.
No, we have not. We've been gone for the past 2 weeks.
We
That's true.
literally came back on Tuesday. So we really just had yesterday.
Mhm.
And that was like, we were recovering.
I don't even
and
remember yesterday.
I don't
honestly.
remember yesterday either.
You know, the only thing I caught up on was that if you have CBS All Access and you watched Star Trek Discovery the first season, they just started putting out one of 4 short episodes of
Mhm.
Star Trek, which
Mhm.
is a new thing for them. They're called short treks.
Mm.
And the first one came out. It is called Runaway, and it's like a 15-minute mini episode or mini movie. And they're going to put one out at the beginning of each month into January, where then season 2 of Star Trek Discovery is going to drop. So because it's only a 15-minute thing,
Yeah.
I woke up last night at 1:30 in the morning because my sleep's all messed up.
Yeah.
So when I woke up, I was like, oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot that they dropped this as soon as we had left
Yeah.
the U.S. to go on our vacation. So I watched it, and I was like, this is fucking great. And then
Yeah.
I tried to go back to sleep. So that's the only thing I've caught up on. I still need to catch up
That's-
on.
Yeah, we're
everything
still
else.
really far behind on
Yeah.
everything. So
At
behind.
least
give
I
us
watched
time, y'all.
At least I watched Venom before we left.
That's true. You
Yeah,
did.
I
You
still
got
haven't
an
seen it.
early
Yeah.
screener though.
I did,
That's
I
why.
did,
Yeah,
I
you
did,
had
I
to do
did.
the press junket, you
I did.
piece of shit.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I talked to Tom Hardy, and I think I made him mad. Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
I
yeah.
did.
He almost punched you in the
Yeah,
face.
he was
yeah.
like, he's like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, he got all mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen Venom.
Nope.
I haven't seen any. We didn't watch anything while we were gone, and
Mhm.
like Venom
That's
came
fine.
out, Star is Born came out, First Man came out. Halloween's the first movie that I'm seeing this entire month.
Mhm.
And you're gonna fall asleep for it
I
too,
hope
so you're
not.
gonna have to rewatch
I'm
it.
pretty sure that's the only thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
think that's the
I'm terrible at catching up on it. Apparently, a new season of Daredevil is about to drop
I
too.
know.
Friday,
I
right?
know.
Uh,
I'm way behind on those.
Or no,
Two-
tonight.
I
Or is
still
it
haven't
next week?
seen.
It's
I still
probably
have
tonight.
not seen. I think it's tonight. I still have not seen. Maybe it's 2 days from now. I forget when
Yeah.
Deborah Ann Wool keeps posting on social media. She's great. I still have not seen Luke Cage season 2,
Uh-huh.
and
Right,
then I have
neither
to do.
have I.
I have to do Luke Cage. I have to do Iron Fist, and then Daredevil season 3.
oh
So
God, I'm
I am
not doing Iron
far-
Fist, but we're gonna talk about Iron Fist.
Yeah.
They
Right?
are.
Okay, let's just get into it
This
then.
shit got
Let's
canceled.
just get into it.
First, we're going to talk about James Gunn, though. So this happened, like, I don't know, 2-3 days into our trip.
I
Yeah.
know.
It was announced that
Yeah.
James Gunn is going to be coming on board Suicide Squad 2 as a writer,
Mhm.
potentially going to come on board and direct this project as well. It's going to be sort of a revamp, something new, a fresh take on the Suicide Squad story.
Which
we
I-
don't really know, like,
I-
what it's going to take from David Ayer's movie,
Right.
and if it's going to be a continuation or if it's going to be a brand new team. So that's going to be interesting. I
Mhm.
know Gavin O'Connor was on board
Mhm.
to be the director and
What
the writer.
What did Gavin O'Connor direct? Didn't he do?
Warrior, Miracle, and The Accountant.
Oh yeah, that's right. Didn't he do? Which director am I thinking of that did X-Men Origins Wolverine?
That was Gavin Hood.
Gavin Hood, not Gavin
Yeah,
O'Connor.
not Gavin
See, I got it
O'Connor.
confused. They're both Gavins.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why I was
Gavins.
like,
That's an easy name.
yeah,
to get all
not too many
messed up.
not too many Gavins.
Not a lot of Gavins. No.
Not a lot of
No.
Gavins.
Obviously,
okay.
this comes off of a lot of the controversy that happened between James Gunn and Disney, and him not being brought on board to finish the Guardians trilogy, which still doesn't have a director. I think
Apparently production
today
has been-
it just got
it's
pushed to 2021.
2021.
Yeah,
Fuck.
2 years.
Yeah.
2-3 years.
Yep.
Cool, man. I really hope that in 2021 James Gunn gets to come back and do it. You know what I mean?
Guardians
I
3.
hope. Yeah, I hope that in 2021.
Interesting.
I hope. Here's my hope, not prediction, because I don't think this is. I don't know. My hope is that James Gunn gets to go do Suicide Squad 2 for Warner Brothers, and it's a big hit, and everyone's like, yeah, this is great. And by then, people will. If the conversation goes to why he was fired, the conversation will be, hey, it was bullshit that you were fired. And everybody will sort of agree on that. Like, yeah, we should not have listened to alt-right trolls who were trying to get a dude fired because he was a vocal opponent of the president. Hopefully that becomes the sort of feeling.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
once that movie comes out or he's done, then Disney can be like, hey, do you want to do pre-production on Guardians 3? Now we have now enough years have passed that, like, the egos of any executives, they've gone away, or there's been executive shifts happening at Disney and Marvel, and it's not a big deal, and we can just we don't have to defend somebody's decision to fire you. We can instead kind of ignore that and be like, hey, welcome back. We just had to, like, let some time pass or whatever, you know, to kind of let this blow over.
I like your optimistic outlook, and if
Yeah.
there's anything we've learned about being on the internet or even being like a big company, you're only as good as your last product, so people tend to forget things very quickly. But also, we live in a time in which Twitter people don't forget things ever, and those tweets were apologized for 10 years ago. They came back 10 years later, and who knows? If they try to bring them back, they're just gonna, re-up this whole thing. So who knows, dude?
And but I'm saying, even by 2021, hopefully by then, if a group tries to do that again, Disney themselves will be like, no, stop.
I hope so.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
Disney,
I hope so.
Disney themselves will come out and be like, we don't like alt-right, horrific people who target, liberal-minded people who work in entertainment. So we're going to squash
No,
this.
I agree, and
know?
that's why I said I like your optimistic outlook on it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, like, people are assholes.
Who knows? Yeah, they
People are assholes.
People are assholes. That's
Yep.
right.
How do we feel about James Gunn coming in and doing Suicide Squad and it potentially being like a fresh take and not a continuation?
So I'm a little bit confused on that, because when movie people type that stuff into a press release, it could mean anything.
Yeah.
You know, when comic book people hear that, we automatically think like, wait, is this a new reboot of a new universe? What do you mean, like I'm like, is this still not the same? Yeah, exactly. Is this not the same continuity? The same? Are we diverging in the timeline? What do you mean?
Yeah.
And movie people are probably just like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
I just mean that it's not going to be Suicide Squad by David Ayer Part 2.
Right.
It'll just be Suicide Squad 2, and whatever James Gunn wants to do, meaning characters or stories, like, they'll change whatever they want.
Right.
That's probably what it's going to be,
Most likely,
while still trying to be like the sequel to what they had set up.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
the good thing
new roster of
the good
characters,
thing
probably.
the good thing about Suicide Squad is that it can change,
Mhm.
and it can be directed by multiple people and still be Suicide Squad. But if your characters change so much, it's gonna be a tonal shift no matter what. You know, I'm guessing they're gonna bring back the heavy hitters. I'm guessing we get justice
Harley
for
Quinn.
Slipknot. No, we won't get justice for
He
Slipknot.
dead.
I know he's gone.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to this. It's in James Gunn's wheelhouse. The ragtag group of misfit anti-heroes who got to work together for some goal. It's right there. Like,
And
it's written.
You know what's awesome too is that James Gunn is so good at infusing heart into those weird, fucked up character roster movies that, like, the one thing that makes the Suicide Squad really, really fun in the comic books is that when the Suicide Squad has really good comics, the things that work are like, they're all killers, they're all super villains, they're all like B and C list level villains who, like, have to put up with the Flash and Superman and all these other characters, and they get their asses kicked constantly.
Right.
But within those stories, those writers will inject heart, and you'll be like, dude, I'm rooting for Deadshot.
Right, exactly.
And
Just
Deadshot's
like that bar
a murderer.
scene. That bar scene was
Yes.
amazing. That's the
Yes.
only part I liked in the movie.
Yes,
was
for
when
sure.
when the characters got to sit down and be like, guys, we're fuck ups and you
Yep.
know we might die, but let's be a team. Like
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
do this. So,
You just saying
yeah.
that right now reminds me of the scene in Guardians, where it's like, we're finally being given a chance to give a shit.
Yeah.
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 And that's when I look around, I see a bunch of losers, as in
Yep.
people who've lost stuff.
Yep.
And it's there's a lot of similarities there, and I'm just hoping that, because what I want DC movies to have more than anything, what I think Wonder Woman has more than all the rest of them by far is heart. And if you can infuse heart in those movies, you can get even more comic booky with it and
Right.
get away with it, and
Yeah,
people will
exactly.
be like there for it.
Because we're behind the characters. Like if we
Totally.
fall in love with these bad guys,
Mhm.
mission accomplished. You can do
Mhm.
whatever you want, and that's why they did that with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Now everybody loves this talking dancing tree
Yeah.
and this
Mhm.
talking raccoon. Like it came out of left field, and now they're a staple in the universe. So if they can pull that off, who
Mhm.
knows? That might be a jumping off point for the rest of the rest of the
Mhm.
movie universe that they
Yeah.
if they decide to go along with it. You know, so.
Yeah.
I think it's all positive. For me, I think it's all a good move to hire James Gunn
Yeah,
and
I
bring
agree.
him on and have him take over all these projects and maybe it's a kick in the pants for those hardcore Snyder fans who are just complaining, who don't know what to think about it at this point. Like, are they is it
Yeah.
a good move? Is it a bad move? Like,
I think that one of the most heartbreaking things to come out of that side of this fandom, as a comic book fan, is that a lot of very loyal Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman fans, they will see other movies of the same genre, superheroes, action, whatever, comedy, whatever, and if they have humor or heart in them, they hate it.
right.
And I see that, and it breaks my heart, because I'm like, but at the core of Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman and these DC characters, like, they have heart, and they oftentimes have humor.
Right.
And those are things that are vital for Superman, vital for Batman. Like, Batman is dressed up like this, brooding, dark character, but like, people keep forgetting the reason the Christopher Nolan movies work is like Christian Bale and Michael Caine have heart
Right.
between them, like
Right.
the fanboys don't talk about those moments, because you're going to talk about, oh, Heath Ledger Joker and all this and this so cool and this so great, but those moments where Bruce Wayne is like reduced back to an 8-year-old boy, and
Right,
when
right.
he's a grown ass actor, like,
Right.
that's the best stuff, man.
The,
So
that's
like,
what the
that's
core
what
of it,
that's why people are not, that's why the Man of Steel and sort of Superman direction has not caught the world on fire. That character is needs more heart.
Yeah, I agree.
If the world can fall in love with Clark Kent again, then we're golden, man.
Oh,
Then
absolutely.
the rest of the universe, like, I feel like, falls in
If
line.
we have that moment like they have in the Justice League animated series, in which Batman shows up to the Hall of Justice, and then Superman turns to him and smiles. He goes, "Buddy," and they're like, "Batman," or something. And he goes and like he hugs him. Come on, dude. How is that ridiculous? Like,
Because he thought Batman was dead.
Yeah, exactly. Because he thought Batman was dead. He was excited to see him, so he goes and he hugs his buddy.
Yeah.
And that's what you would do. Like, that's a human element that everybody can attach to.
And
what
what a man, the build up to that moment. We just watched Titans on the DC Universe thing
Right.
or whatever, and about a month or two ago, when that thing first went live, like, I rewatched the first episode of Batman the Animated Series,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just watching that and being like, dude, knowing where they went with this for years and
Right.
how it led up to the relationship between Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne in that universe, and then bringing in Diana into the mix,
Right,
and then
right,
Jon
right.
Stewart and Shaira and
Right.
Jon Jones.
Right.
Jon Jones in
Jon
that show?
Jones, dude.
Like, there's
Ugh.
like, God, I love those
Yeah.
characters so
Yeah,
much. Like,
you really,
fuck.
yeah. Like, all those characters have a thing that you can connect with. It's like Batman has that one beautiful moment in which there's that one villain who's dying. She's a little girl who can kind of control reality.
In the Royal Flush game.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
And
10, I
and-
think it was.
Yeah, and
Or
she's
whatever.
dying. She's sitting on a swing.
Yeah.
And then Batman comes up to her and she's like, "I'm dying and I'm scared." And she's like, "Well," and Batman goes, "Well, we all get scared."
Mhm.
And then they just kind of sit there in silence, and
Yeah.
she's like, "Will you be here with me?" And then they
Mhm.
just hold hands.
He's like,
Yeah.
yes.
And then she passes away. Like, that is the Batman moment,
Yes,
and people
dude.
never talk about it.
Yeah.
I know.
You know,
I
and
know.
and that's the type of stuff that made generations of people fall in love with Batman. And if we could get back to having some of those elements in there, I'm not saying make Batman like a mushy gushy, you know, like
'Cause he's
because
not.
he's not a mushy gushy guy.
But the reason that those moments are so effective is because it's the sort of exception to the rule.
right.
Let's talk about Star Trek for a second. When you say the rule is that Spock is emotionless,
Right.
the second that Spock cries, you're
Yep.
like, oh fuck,
You're
dude.
like, damn, son.
He's broken.
Hey,
Something broke him.
Shit just
Yeah.
hit the fan. What's
Yeah.
happening?
Yeah.
Spock's
Yeah.
crying. What's going
Mhm,
on?
mhm,
It's the same thing with Batman. When the rules are that he works alone,
Mhm.
the second he brings on Robin, the second he brings on Batgirl, the second he
cares about
he
somebody
cares about
else.
Batwoman, and,
Right,
the second he has a moment with Alfred. The whole rule is that Batman is emotionally, he has built himself up. His
Right.
parents died when he was 8, and now he's turned that into a strength. But then the second that he like cries with Alfred, come on, like
on.
that's what it's all about,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
It's about that heart. It's about those moments. So I think that going back to what we were talking about originally, James Gunn as a storyteller, writer, director can absolutely do that.
Oh, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
even if it's for a franchise that is maybe not everybody's favorite,
right.
it's not my favorite DC property even before the movie came out. Like
Yeah.
Suicide Squad's always been a fun fringe thing,
yeah.
but
So was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Exactly.
So was Guardians
all
of the
the
Galaxy.
better. So like, yeah,
Yeah.
man. Even if we're sneaking in some heart into
Right.
that little corner,
Right.
it can hopefully spill out into
Spill
the
out. It's
you know,
infectious.
rest of the
It'll get out
universe.
there.
the rest of the universe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
Except Wonder Woman already has it. Like
Yeah.
she's
Oh
got
well, yeah. I
the
mean,
heart
that's-
will be seeping towards her, and she'll be like, over there. She'll
she'd
be like,
spread it
That
out
needs
over
more.
here.
That
Spread
needs
it
more.
out.
That needs
she's
more.
like, I'm fine. I'm
Full
good.
capacity.
I
We're
got
at
that
capacity
shit
over
covered.
here.
I got
Over
that
here.
shit covered.
Don't worry about that. I got focus on space.
Let's talk a little bit about Iron Fist. Iron Fist has been canceled. It's the
Sweet
first
baby
Marvel
Jesus.
Netflix show to get officially canceled. I guess
if you don't count
Yeah.
the Defenders,
sure.
which had one
that
season
officially,
of
like,
8
canceled?
episodes. No, but they've never announced Defenders
another
season
season,
2.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
So
This is the first official cancellation, though.
correct.
yeah,
correct.
yeah.
This is
Um, So this is what they said about it. Marvel's Iron Fist will not return for a third season on Netflix. Everyone at Marvel Television and Netflix is proud of the series and grateful for all the hard work from our incredible cast, crew, and showrunners. We're thankful to the fans who have watched these 2 seasons and for the partnership we've shared on this series. While the series on Netflix has ended, the immortal Iron Fist will live on. Whatever
Okay.
that means.
It's a really nice press release.
It is.
Yeah,
It's
it
really
is.
nice, and it makes me wonder. I'm like, dude, I feel like Netflix has all the money in the world. How bad would the ratings have to have been
That's
them to
what I'm
cancel it.
Iron
saying.
Fist season 2 for them to be like, hey
Nah,
man,
we're
you know
good.
the very little amount of money we spent comparatively on Iron Fist the show.
We're not gonna
We're
spend
gonna
that
take that.
anymore.
Yeah, like how much did people not even click on season 2?
I know.
Which goes to show you,
I
it's
didn't
like,
even glance at that
yeah,
show.
which
like,
goes to show you, hey, listen, showrunner of season 1, Scott Buck, who went on to do the Inhumans. Hey, listen, people who hired Scott Buck and everybody who did season 1, like, if you don't come out with a strong first season and just pretend like, we'll fix it in season 2, or
Yeah.
we'll get to it later. It's like,
Yeah.
people aren't
People
going
have already
to
committed
check it out.
13 hours of their life
Yeah,
to season
man.
1.
People aren't going to come back for season 2 if the first season
I'm the
isn't
same as
strong.
Tori Flacco in the chat. I didn't watch season 2 because I disliked season
There
1
you go.
so
Yeah.
much.
Even though
the
season
exact
2
same way.
was like better received, like
Yeah.
across the board,
Yeah.
everyone was like, "Oh no, it's for sure way better,"
Yeah.
and there's cool moments in it.
Right.
And I'm still open, like I'm still planning to watch it at some point.
Right.
But I wasn't rushing to click
No,
on that.
Yeah,
not
I
at
wasn't
all.
either.
You know,
No,
like
no, I mean,
nothing,
I still
and
haven't
yeah.
even seen
Luke Cage.
season 2
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah,
You know.
I'm behind.
But one thing I did like Iron Fist in the Defenders. Those
Same.
5 minutes that he was in the Defenders
Mhm.
was way better than anything in season 1 of,
Mhm.
of
Yeah.
Iron Fist. So
Yeah.
I'm cool with them having him show up.
Yeah.
Like if they give Luke Cage and Iron Fist a show,
Mm-hmm.
Heroes for Hire, let's do that. Let's
Done.
make it a buddy comedy.
Yeah.
Let's
or
the
even
buddy cop
or even
thing.
if Danny Rand is essentially like the co-lead of Luke Cage season 3, fine. You know what I mean? Like it's even if they don't change the name to Heroes for
Right,
Hire, but
right,
it's still just
right.
like Luke Cage, but Iron Fist is all up in it.
Yeah.
Fine. Like I'm also
I'm
fine
okay with
him
that.
being
Yeah.
around.
And
as
I
well,
think
yeah.
that's what they were trying to insinuate with their last
Right.
that last
Yeah.
thing that the Immortal
Yeah.
Iron Fist will live on. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
well, and I think with a character like that, because Daredevil season 3 apparently is really good.
Mhm.
They're doing another season of Jessica
Mhm.
Jones. Yeah, you can sprinkle
Mhm.
that character into other people's shows.
Yeah.
And it's
Right,
totally
exactly,
fine.
and it'll
you can
be
team
okay.
them up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also potential that this series could eventually move to Disney streaming service.
That's
You never
right.
know.
We still don't know what's going to happen with all that
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah.
that's I'm going to be real interested to see what happens after this Fox merger.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
apparently that's when they're going to make the big push to the big streaming service. So
Mhm.
it'll be interesting. What are they going to do with the rest of the series? What if Daredevil season 3 is a
It-
knockout killer and it just
Mhm.
it does amazing? Are they just going to pull the plug and take it over to Fox or
Yeah.
take
There
it
was-
over to streaming service?
I don't remember where I saw it. It may have been like Slash Film or something, but apparently Netflix is planning Marvel shows for the foreseeable future. So I
Yeah.
don't know what
Yeah.
their deal is exactly, but from what I could tell, I didn't click on the article, but
Yeah.
just the title, just the headline was like, as far as Netflix is concerned, like they're going to keep making Marvel. They
Yeah.
still have plans to make
Yeah.
Marvel. So there's not
It's
like
going to keep going.
it's not like by like 2020 we have to stop because Disney's going to port everything over. I don't
Mhm.
think that's going to happen.
Well, I
but we don't know.
we don't know yet, and I don't think we've heard anything because the merger isn't official yet.
Yeah.
Right.
There could still be some things that block it, which is
Still
unlikely.
getting signed.
Exactly. There's still lots of signatures,
Yeah.
lots of bureaucracy things going on. So until they get the official, hey, we're
Mhm.
doing it, this
Mhm.
merger's happening, we're starting our service, that's when Netflix will come out with their
Okay.
Yeah.
announcement. So we'll see.
Yeah,
Cool.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm kind of okay with. I personally feel like they've been pushing out too many Netflix Marvel shows
Yeah,
too,
this
too
year
soon.
was a
With
lot.
no hype either.
Yeah, there's just like no build up
Yeah.
towards
Surprise! They're surprise
Oh.
shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, this weekend.
That's what it feels
I know,
like.
yeah. Like Daredevil season 3's
Yeah.
coming out,
I
you
think,
know?
and I think that's tonight.
I-
Mhm.
people were saying in
midnight.
a couple of hours.
Yeah,
it's
I don't
gonna come
know.
out.
Yeah, so it's like it's just one of those things where I feel like maybe put the brakes on a little bit on some of these Marvel Netflix shows, and maybe just give us 1 or 2 a year.
You know what
Like,
would be
this
great
is like
too?
the 3rd or 4th one.
With the rumors I've heard about Avengers 4.
Mhm.
Uh-oh.
And the
Wait, have you heard
shakeups.
stuff that we haven't heard? Oh,
I think
sweet
so.
Jesus. We're
I'll
going to have to
I'll
talk
tell
about
you,
this
sweet
afterwards.
Jesus. Sweet Jesus. I'll tell you afterwards. I think I may have told you if you guys want to.
Okay.
I think I may have told you. But from what I've heard,
Uh-huh.
even if there's no plans to further cross-pollinate the TV movie Marvel world with the movies, I still would like it if future Netflix and ABC shows could expand more on what's happening in the movies. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the snap, that's
Right,
a big
right.
thing. Like
Yes.
I want to see shows deal with
That's a
that.
game changer.
That's a game changer. So
So-
maybe if we pump the brakes on TV Land a little bit and honestly take like a year or two
Right.
for some of these shows to come back, but
Right.
they're like, and now we're in a post Avengers 4
Yeah.
world. Like
yeah.
I would be really
Where-
excited about that.
Where Iron Fist got snapped away.
And he didn't come
And
back.
He didn't
Oh
come
my
back.
what a twist that would be.
Oh man. That'd be
So
great.
have you guys seen the cover art for the new Daredevil season?
Oh, is it the thing with the black costume underneath?
Yeah.
where
What
he's
if
on
his
fire or
costume
whatever?
just got snapped away?
It
It just didn't
Just
work
blind
on. Yeah, it
attorney.
just didn't work
Gets
on.
destrozo.
He's like, you know what? It's unfair to snap a disabled guy, so
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get his costume.
my
I'm just gonna
God.
get his costume.
That'd
I
be
feel
pretty
bad.
great.
Now I've got yeah.
I want to say what's up to Tyler Stenson. It's his first time here.
Tyler.
watching us,
Hey,
so
what's
What's
up?
up, dude?
What's up? What's
Welcome
up?
to the chat. Welcome.
Usually we're more alive.
Usually we're a little
Lucas
tired.
Eubank has a great comment. It'd be cool if they had the Punisher team up with someone. The Punisher series was so good. It
Yep.
was good.
Yep.
It was so good. It's
Who's
almost
that guy, by the way? Lucas
Lucas
Eubank. I
Eubank.
don't know.
I don't know. He's
I don't
pretty
know.
handsome. I'd go
I
on a
don't know.
He's
vacation
like
with
a party
him.
boy. He's like a
I'd
party
go on a
boy.
vacation
Yeah.
with him.
But,
I'd go on a vacation with everybody in the
Yeah.
chat. Are you kidding me? Except for that annoying guy. You know who you are. Yeah, I think the Punisher, it would be, fuck, man, you know how cool it would be if Tom Holland showed up in Punisher Season 2? Do you know what I mean? That
That'd
kind
be
of
great,
thing of
yeah.
like, but do we have
Yeah.
to wait until after Avengers 4 for that to happen? For
Yeah.
obvious reasons?
Yeah.
Because Spider-Man died? Like, so maybe
Right.
pump the brakes a little bit and make those shows more of an event like they were when they first came out. When
Yeah.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. first came out, when episode 1 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. premiered on ABC,
Dude, that was
a huge
build
deal.
up.
Right.
That was a huge
Right,
deal.
right.
And I don't think they've ever had the ratings as good as that first episode. Because a lot of
Yeah.
people tuned in, then they were like, nope.
Yeah.
And a lot of people stuck
I
with
gotta
it.
go.
And then it got better. And then the first episode of Daredevil on Netflix
Right.
was a huge deal like
Right,
3
right,
years
right.
ago
Yeah.
in 2015.
It
Like,
was.
that was a big deal.
I mean, you remember we live streamed the whole first season.
Yeah.
Like
and
we sat down and watched
even a
it.
week or so before that, I stayed up with Keller from midnight.
That's right.
To
I
like
remember
the
that.
next
Yeah.
day at like
Yep.
11 a.m. or whatever, 2 p.m. and I was loopy. Like it was
Yep.
stupid, but it was such a big deal.
Yeah.
And I think it would be cool if Netflix were to get back to that by doing something like 2020 Netflix returns.
2020.
Yeah.
2020.
2020.
2020s, bro.
2020. Netflix Marvel returns with like post Avengers 4
Yeah.
Defenders shows or whatever,
Well,
whatever.
I also
something.
just want them to continue. Remember that cool shit they were doing with the colors at the beginning?
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
doing that anymore.
No.
Like
Yeah.
It was very
everybody's got their.
artistic.
I mean, the Jessica Jones stuff with all the watercolor things that they were
Yeah.
doing was great,
Yeah.
and I miss that kind of hype.
Mhm.
It would really kind of pique my interest to keep watching these shows, but at this point, they're pumping them out so quickly, and there's no hype or advertising behind them that I'm just like,
Yeah.
I feel like they don't care as much, so I'm just
Mhm.
like, I'm not gonna spend my time
Yeah.
watching this.
Sugar
Yeah.
Cube says, I think a Spider-Man show would take away from the films, though. I don't want a show. I want Tom Holland, Spidey,
Yeah.
to cameo in
Right.
Daredevil and
Yep.
meet Matt Murdock. I've wanted that since we met Ben Urich,
Yep.
Yeah.
because Ben Urich is a pivotal character to the story of Peter Parker in the comic books, and then Ben
Yeah.
Urich died in season 1 of Daredevil. I was
Yeah.
like, fuck, he'll never meet
No!
Spider-Man.
Yep.
He's so
No!
good, such a good
Exactly.
character.
Yeah.
So that's what I want.
Yep. I agree.
More of that interconnectivity, less of them just talking about the events,
Right.
and more of like,
Mhm.
what if Jessica Jones
Actual
shows up
effect
at
of-
Avengers Tower and they
Yeah.
turn her down?
Right.
Somebody's like some security person.
Tony's like,
fucking-
I already know about
you.
you. We
John,
don't want you
yeah,
here.
like John Favreau,
Yeah.
Happy Hogan
Right.
cameo. Like we don't get Robert Downey Jr., but
Yeah,
we get
exactly.
John Favreau to be like,
Exactly.
sorry, Miss Jones, we talked about this.
We
You
talked-
know,
yeah,
you can't
yeah,
enter the
yeah.
building. Some shit like that
Yeah.
would be so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
I
Just
agree,
connected.
and that was our big hope when they first
Yeah.
announced these shows. We're like, oh my god, there's so much
Dude,
potential.
people forget
crossover.
episode 1 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at the end of it.
Uh-huh.
Nick Fury shows up. Sam Jackson was there, and he
Really?
showed up in that show a few
Yeah, he
times.
does.
Interesting.
Sif showed up.
They
Yeah.
can do it
like,
then.
They can. It's just right now, I think it's a political.
Yeah.
The
I
TV
agree.
people don't like the movie people, and vice versa. I
Yep.
don't think it's a scheduling. Because if they wanted to work it out, they would work
could.
it out.
They would,
you know
yeah,
what I
for
mean?
sure, for
I
sure.
think it's
Yeah.
a political. We don't like each other bullshit thing, as opposed to like let's work together to make each of our things cooler.
Yeah, I
Which
agree.
it would be better if they did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
yeah.
But here's some good news about Marvel.
Yeah.
Ryan Coogler's coming back to write and direct Black Panther number
I
2.
mean, if
Thank
he-
Bast.
If he didn't,
yeah.
I would
Yeah.
revolt.
Riots
I would
occur.
riot.
If he didn't, I would only be okay with it if it was like, but they gave Ryan Coogler like Spider-Man 3 or
Yeah,
something. You know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
they
Or
gave
Avengers
yeah,
4.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like
right,
they
right,
gave Ryan
right.
Coogler like Avengers 5 or the new Avengers
Avengers,
or
exactly,
something where it was like
exactly.
he was kind of being upgraded, I
Yeah,
guess.
Well, I mean,
not that
but that's the
anything
thing. You
from
can't take him off of
Panther's
his
at the
baby,
top.
though. Yeah,
and
like,
Panther's at the top, dude.
Yeah,
It
I mean,
made
it's
$1 billion.
It's one of their best
Yeah.
movies, and there's no
it's
way.
the highest grossing Marvel movie domestically at like $700 million.
Jesus.
It's gonna be a sad day because I know Coogler's probably not gonna stick around for a lot more.
for
of
3.
Yeah.
Maybe not 3. I'm
Mhm.
hoping 3, but I'm not holding my breath for like 4.
You know what
Yeah.
I would
More
love?
Black Panther movies.
He almost wanted to use Kraven the Hunter
Mhm.
in the first Black
Jesus
Panther movie.
Christ.
Because Kraven shows up in some Black Panther
Ugh.
comics by Christopher
Yeah.
Priest and stuff, and then they couldn't figure out a way to work it out. And now that Sony is apparently trying to do their own Kraven movie, I
Yeah.
would love it if legally Marvel Studios could still do Kraven within
Yeah.
the MCU,
Yeah.
just to like stick it to Sony,
Yep.
and then Coogler, like it would be so great if Coogler used
Uh-huh.
Kraven in Black Panther 2,
Yep.
maybe even with a little Spidey nod or something. But it's a Black
Mhm.
Panther movie. Kraven's at the beginning, get Kraven out of the way, and then Panther. That buddy, oh God, I think it's Melvin Brown.
Melvin Brown?
who we
On Twitter.
on Twitter,
On Twitter, yeah.
who posed that of like, what would you want to see introduced in Black Panther 2? And he had some good pitches. He was like Fantastic Four,
Yes.
Namor the
Yes.
Submariner, and Atlantis.
Uh-huh.
Oh God, what was the other one he introduced? He said something, and then he was like, or Doctor Doom.
Of course.
Dr. Doom.
Of
And I was
course.
like,
Because this
"Ay,
movie,
ay."
this movie's not slated until after the Fox merger.
True.
So
If
Things
they're
are
if
possible.
they're in pre-pro right now,
I'm sure they've had a plan B for Doom. Like
Yeah.
Feige's had a plan B
Yeah.
for Doom for this entire 10 years.
This could be the backdoor plan. You know,
Yes.
Feige has said that like they have had like contingency plans in
Right.
place
Right.
for Spider-Man, for Fantastic Four, for the
Exactly.
X-Men. What if one of their plans was, well, we want to get to Doctor Doom, and we
Yes.
want Latveria, and we
Yes.
want, and maybe even if we can find a way
Doom
to introduce
Wars.
Doom before proper Fantastic Four film,
Right.
we'll
right.
take it. We'll take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Fucking Doom, Latveria versus Wakanda.
Oh my God.
God.
Oh my God. Oh, too good. Too
would be
good.
great.
And that would be good to have Ryan Coogler set the tone for somebody like Doom.
Dude,
because I
yeah.
love what he
would
did.
crush.
Are you kidding me?
He would crush
Are
it
you
at Doctor
kidding
Doom.
me?
Yeah.
So
That would be
Coogler
amazing.
just handling the tone, like Coogler and Feige saying, this is the Doom that we want to set up.
Mhm.
Like, we want him to have a castle. We want him to speak in this sort of way. We want him to, like, be this super omnipotent, like, being, and eventually get to, I don't know, the new Secret Wars, or what the one where he turns into God Doom.
And we want Doom to look like this, and we
Yeah.
want Doom to feel like this. A combination of Iron Man in the MCU and Doctor Strange
Man.
in the MCU. And you put that shit together,
Don't
and
even.
then you know they would get an actor that would be like, and we've got Javier Bardem as
Hector.
Doctor, like some incredible like, and we've got Daniel Day-Lewis out of retirement to do Doctor Doom.
I
Some
can
bullshit.
only get so erect, Hector. Just stop.
Before
Just
this
stop it
table
now.
flips
I'm
over.
gonna flip this table over on accident.
I can only be so erect.
It's painful at this point.
Makes perfect sense,
Because
though.
I
You gotta-
don't have Doom yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it makes perfect sense. You have to bring back Ryan Coogler. He
Yeah.
is the reason, like, why there's been so much more interest by such a bigger, diverse group of
Absolutely.
people.
I mean, yeah.
in the last year, and like, it made so much money.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
ridiculous.
the proof's in the pudding, dude. Like
and the box office is like split almost down the middle when it comes to profit. It's
Yeah.
like domestic and international is about it's almost
amazing.
50-50.
Right,
That's amazing.
Absolutely. He did a big thing for the culture. Like he did
Yeah.
a big beautiful movie that our friend's wife Jess Puccinelli cries every time she sees
Yeah.
those beautiful scenes with all these people in their native clothes and doing all these dances, and just it was great. Like
Yeah.
it was a big movement socially. It was a big movement for movies. It was a big milestone for letting a black director direct, and like it was great, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful
Agreed.
thing.
And like
so let's
Ri-
keep
and
it going,
like-
Ryan Coogler.
Riz Ahmed in Venom said, like, when Black Panther succeeds, like
Everything
it's
else.
it's not
Everybody
about
succeeds, yeah.
okay, well now
Yeah.
we need a specific Asian representation thing, and we need Middle Eastern representation, and we need Black representation, we need Latino representation. It's like it's a thing of like it helps everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
When
Yep, I
Crazy
agree.
Rich Asians succeeds, it helps everybody. When Black Panther succeeds, Wonder Woman, etc. So
Yep.
yeah, man.
Agreed,
I'm
agreed.
All
excited about
good.
that.
Ryan Coogler for the win.
I know. There was a rumor that came out, I believe yesterday, the day before yesterday, that the CW was potentially going to be working on a Superman TV series with Tyler Hoechlin.
Fuck it, why not?
And they were going to spin it off from the Elseworlds crossover that's happening
okay.
in December. I
And
think.
dude, I mean, we got Lois Lane now.
I know.
Lex
well,
Luthor.
apparently.
Oh,
so
boy.
that's the thing. So apparently that's not true. That's not going to be happening. But I will
Oh.
say, I think it's super impressive that every time that the movies try to do something and they fail at it, Greg Berlanti's like, I got it.
I got you,
Yeah.
He
boo-boo.
always does something.
I got you, boo boo.
You're talking about the black suit?
The black suit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
always like
Yeah.
we'll do Superman the right way. We'll do
Yeah.
Supergirl. We'll treat these characters right. We'll
It-
tell these cool stories,
it's-
ambitious
right.
stories.
It has gotten to a point where, and I'm just speaking for myself. I mean, maybe somebody would agree, or and I'm sure people would disagree. But like, it felt like when the Arrowverse started, that comic book fans, there was a bit of compromise, and
Yeah.
compromise is the word that comic book fans have been used to for forever.
Yeah.
We get a Justice League movie, but Superman's face looks weird. Compromise. Those kinds of things are
Yeah.
like,
Right,
we finally get
right.
Fantastic Four, but like somebody in the chat mentioned, but the actor never wants to wear the Doctor Doom mask.
Yeah,
Compromise,
yeah.
right? With the Arrowverse, it was like we're getting all these superhero characters we have not seen in live action yet, and
Yeah.
we get to focus on them. But they're all in the CW, and a lot of times it feels like a CW teen drama,
Yeah, right,
compromise.
Right.
But now it's gotten to the point where like the Arrowverse is not a compromise anymore.
No.
They are making
It's a huge
full-on,
comic book universe.
unabashed comic book shows. Legends of Tomorrow is fucking bonkers, and it's awesome. We're getting Batwoman. Like they released the tease of the Elseworlds where Flash and Green Arrow switch places. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh my god! Like this is not
Yep.
something where we have to work within the parameters of TV, CW, Seventh Heaven style. Do you know what I mean? Going all the way back to like
Family
the
comedy.
WB.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
even Smallville, when that show came out, it was still compromised. Like it was, it like there were moments. God, Christopher Reeve was on the show, and that moment like soared.
Yeah.
It was beautiful, but a lot of the show was like filler. A lot of the show was like Monster of the Week. So it's like we got Clark Kent in Smallville, but it's a compromise because he's never going to wear the suit.
Speaking of which, they're filming on that set again. The
On
Kent
the
farm from
Smallville?
Smallville.
Oh wow.
For Flash or for like the crossover episode.
Oh,
That's cool.
because that's up in Vancouver, right? Because that's
Yeah.
where they were filming
So
Smallville.
I'm so curious why and what's going to come out of that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't think it's going to end up being Tom Welling as like an alternate universe Superman, which would be so cool.
I don't think so. But look, man, they are. Tom Welling, I think, was on Lucifer. I don't know.
Yeah, he was.
I don't know what happened at the end of that season, if he's still on there or if his character was killed off or whatever. But like, he was on that show because Lucifer moved to L.A. production, so he's here in L.A. Like he lives here, so it was just like easy for him to do. The dude lived in Vancouver for 10 years while he was doing Smallville.
Yeah.
So like, I think in the past there's been an opportunity for him to do any of those Arrowverse shows, and I think it came down to like. He didn't want to be like a series regular. He wanted to be like a guest star to be able to kind of still live in LA. Because people forget, man. People don't know. Okay, this is going to be a real name drop, but I was having this conversation with John Barrowman.
Don't be that guy, Hector.
From Arrow. Like John Barrowman, who is...
You work with him.
Yeah, occasionally when he's able to fly down. But I was talking to him. We just got back from Europe.
Yeah.
And this was yesterday. And I was like sick. And I'm like, you know, every time I travel, like, it makes me think of actors such as yourself, Mr. John Barrowman, and other actors of his of TV world and movie world. They fly around, they travel so much. And I asked him, I'm like, dude, when you were doing your show, did you live in Vancouver? And he was like, no, I filmed Monday through Thursday, and I was either in like an Airbnb or like a hotel, and then I would have to put up the money for myself because I wasn't a series regular.
Right.
And then I would fly back home. Because there's a 2.5 hour flight into Palm Springs or whatever. Like he lived in LA.
That was his commute. Yeah.
He came back to his family and stuff here in LA, and that was his commute. And I was like, and I remember I told him, I'm like, yeah, when I was into the show Lost, I learned they film in Hawaii, and the actors on that show have ended up living in Hawaii. Their kids were going to school in Hawaii.
Right.
So that's why Daniel Day Kim, when Lost was over, went to do Hawaii Five-0, which was another ABC production in Hawaii because they already have a production studio there. And so his kids are going to school there. Like he is a citizen of Hawaii. And I'm like, that's such a commitment to have to live in a specific place because of your TV job or whatever.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
To go back to the sort of the Tom Welling Smallville thing or whatever, like I feel like he just didn't want to commit to go back and do a thing up there. He's probably like, hey, I live here in LA now. This is where I want to stay. Yeah. And he can say that now because he's not Tom this Welling, young kid who's like,
24.
I'll take a job, and work way too hard like all those kids on Riverdale or whatever.
Right.
But I mean, if they have a cameo of his, that would be awesome. But I'm sure that it's just. They're just using because Clark Kent and Lois Lane, and, they're leaning more into
it's there. Why not use it?
They're leaning more into that thing.
Yeah,
but
sure. It's more family friendly.
Yeah, and like it, I would love it if they ended up making some sort of a backdoor pilot for this Superman show, especially with the fact that they're gonna bring Lex Luthor into the Supergirl series because he's been talked about and referenced plenty of times, just like Superman was. I'm so interested to see how this Supergirl series evolves now that it's. We've already had Superman for 2 seasons. He's shown up throughout both of those last 2 seasons. But now we also like have a Lois Lane. We have a Lex Luthor. How is that going to affect not just the Arrowverse, but just her world, her universe?
Right. It's a good question.
Is the focus going to start shifting now, where it's going to be focused more Superman and Supergirl? It's going to stay on Supergirl. Like what in terms of the numbers of people who are watching, how can they use it to their advantage to try to get more people to come and watch the show?
The same problems I think exist in comic book world where it's like, well, how do you make Supergirl and her supporting characters and cast unique and different than Superman?
Yeah.
Sometimes with the Arrowverse, again, going back to compromise, they didn't have the rights to Batman. So what ended up taking the place of Batman-style stories? Green Arrow.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have made that observation where they're like, well, Green Arrow, the show Arrow just feels like a Batman show without Batman, because they're just kind of filling that place. And Supergirl felt like a Superman show without Superman, but it was Supergirl. And eventually, I feel like over time, her villains and her characters kind of evolved into their unique thing versus like being the template for like, well, this is the Lois Lane type character, and this is the Lex Luthor type character, and this is the Perry White type character for the Superman world, except they're just like porting it over to Supergirl. So it's interesting because I think Supergirl has a very unique voice in the world of those shows, and if they keep leaning into it, I think it could be a strength, and it is a strength, and they should kind of keep doing that.
Right.
I know that Lex Luthor's sister is on the show, Lena Luthor, and me in my comic book brain has always been like, well, she's going to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
But honestly, the way things have been for a while, I'm like, I think she's straight up a good guy. Like, fans of the show have shipped her and Supergirl as like, liking each other, and I think that I'm like, maybe it would be the daring thing to actually make a Luthor like good,
on the good side.
and not
have that one,
and not go and fall back on the very easy thing to do, which is like, no matter what, the Luthor will always be evil, even if they're good for a long time.
Right.
We've seen that a billion times. So,
Mike, to answer your question, no, there has not been any casting announced. They said they're going to start casting for the role fairly soon, so you have time to audition.
For Lex Luthor?
Yeah.
Everybody has time to audition.
Yeah. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see how they tie Lex Luthor in, what sort of dynamics it's going to create between Supergirl, Lex Luthor, Superman, Lois, all those characters. But yeah, I think the Superman universe is so rich, and there's so many great supporting characters. I think you can have both of those series potentially coexist. I don't necessarily think one will overshadow the other. I think that they're smart enough that they know that Superman, because he's so popular, to find ways of making those shows support each other. But we found out that that's not true. That's not happening. But if it were to happen, I'm totally open to it. I think Tyler Hoechlin has been great as Superman, and I cannot wait to see the crossover. I think it's going to be so dope.
It's going to be
and
an
having
event.
Batwoman in it now, which, like the costume they released for the costume, it looked really good. It looked great. It looked great. So I'm excited. Spider-Man Far From Home wrapped filming. So a lot of people thought that we went to Europe because that movie was shooting. That movie was actually shooting in Prague, like right before we got there.
Yeah, we got there right after that.
Yeah, and
we should have timed it better.
When we got there, they had moved on.
Yeah,
I think they
totally.
I think they went to Italy. I could be wrong. But we finally got to look at the costume, and there are a lot of similarities to like the new Spider-Man suit that's from the video game with the white spider, embracing more of like the darker blue tone and all that sort of stuff.
Really dark blue.
They just had a clip of him on, he was just on Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel, yeah.
And he came out, and there's some fans that are like, he ripped off the black and red from Miles Morales. But a lot of people have been like, actually, Steve Ditko, the co-creator of Spider-Man, was drawing Spider-Man in the beginning with a very dark, not
blue
all the way
highlights.
Black, with kind of blue highlights.
Kind of like Superman's hair.
A sort of, exactly, sort of black and red color scheme. And when he came out in Jimmy Kimmel and did his little bit and stuff, and he did a little flip on the way out, like it looks like a Steve Ditko suit.
Yeah, it does.
It really kind of does. In black and red, like it looks good.
Yeah,
looks good.
And that's still up for debate whether he was blue or black back in the day, because that was just how you had to color comic books back in the day. That's how you gave black highlights.
That's true.
Instead of just white, you left it with blue. So it's still up for debate as to what it is, and I think it's stupid that people come up with these arguments. Yeah. Just like, oh, we're just
does the suit look cool? It looks cool, bro.
It looks cool, dude.
If I'll just say this, if fans are concerned that like, because Ned Leeds is basically Genki in Ultimate Spider-Man comic books and Miles Morales comic books, if people are concerned that like Peter Parker is shifting the focus away from Miles, and we're never going to get a live action Miles. First of all, we're getting animated Miles in a movie later this year that looks
amazing,
fresh as fuck. It looks so good.
I hung that poster so hard in my office.
Soy bueno, so good.
Soy bueno,
soy bueno. That like we're getting soy good.
We're like soiled bueno.
We're getting animated Miles, but like if you don't think that Marvel Studios already knows and is already planting seeds. I mean, we had Donald Glover say, I got a nephew. Like, that's on purpose. Like, if you don't think that they understand the potential, if you don't think we're going to see a Kamala Khan Miss Marvel movie at some point, you're not giving them enough credit. I think that they're very good at planning And when Kevin Feige has said that they have movies planned until 2028 or whatever, like another 10 years and another 20 movies,
Right.
you bet your ass one of those movies is Miles Morales, Ultimate Spider-Man, and one of those movies is Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. Like, don't worry about that stuff. We will eventually get Miles. We'll get to that stuff, and it will be unique to Miles, and it'll be great.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else that happened in the last 2 weeks that we were gone that like
Probably.
you guys saw on Twitter that you're like, oh, this happened? I did not know this. I found this out today, and I can't believe nobody told me this. But I guess Rosie Perez got cast as Renee Montoya in the Birds of Prey movie.
Oh, very cool.
And I'm like,
okay,
that's awesome.
Oh,
I love Rosie Perez.
okay.
She's great.
She thought good and everything.
She talked good.
I love Rosie
She
Perez.
like talk really fast.
Yeah, she's great.
She's great. I'm like,
That's
how did I not know that this was a
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We have a tip. Thank you so much, David
Yeah, I'm
G.
gonna read all of them.
gonna read all of
Yeah,
them?
we
Yeah,
should.
I will.
Because there was quite a few, so we should
let's knock
go
these
through
out.
them.
Cool.
We'll start with David G's. $10. Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so
David. Who would you three cast to play Namor?
Namor the
Namor
Submariner.
the
Namor. There's no
Submariner.
Y in there. I'm going to say it's Namor, not
Namor.
Namor.
I'm gonna say Namor.
Okay, it's not Thanos. It's
It's
Thanos.
not Thanos, but
I always
English
said Namor.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
So
you're right.
yes,
Fair point. Fair point.
I always say Namor the Submariner.
I say
Yes.
Namor. I've always
used
been
to
saying
say
Namor.
I used to say Namor the submarine. No,
Submariner.
Submariner.
Because
that's how my little Latino brain
Yeah.
saw it back in the
it's
day.
a submarine.
Yeah.
It's a submariner, Holmes.
It's a submariner. I want him to be an unknown Asian actor or a super talented, handsome Asian guy that we might not know of, but he's probably already acting right now.
Yeah,
And he's
yeah.
got to be ripped. And I mean, like, he's got to be like super fucking hot. He needs to be so hot that whoever will inevitably play Susan Storm,
Yeah.
we need to believe that Susan Storm can be in a room with Namor, and he just like throws out the vibe,
Yeah.
and then she just goes, Reed, are we done? Can we get out of here? Because she's like, I want to fuck him.
Yeah.
Like
Everybody
that's,
wants to hug him.
that's
all
how
the time.
that's how hot he needs to be, and
Yeah.
and he needs to be able to act like. I want him to be super nice in real life, but this actor needs to be able to act like a real piece of shit.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
I mean,
just
he's
like
a real
a
piece of shit
dick.
king guy.
Just the most confidence
Yeah.
ever.
Agreed.
And it wouldn't hurt if he had a British accent, but he doesn't have to, because that's just in my brain. The Atlanteans have always been
Fair, fair, fair.
pompous. and-
I guess that makes
you know.
sense. I guess that
El
makes
Ronan
sense.
brought up the Mandalorian show. Yeah, that also was announced while we were gone.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah.
It's actually called The Mandalorian, and it takes place right after, or I think it's a few years after Return of the Jedi.
Uh-huh.
A brand new warrior who really embraces like the classic Mandalorian armor that's
Right,
worn
right,
by
right.
Jango Fett and Boba Fett.
Cool. Looks good.
I think that's gonna be really cool. Some of the directors that they announced, Taika.
Dude.
Taika's coming in to direct an episode.
It's gonna be
Bryce
so
Dallas
dope.
Howard.
What? I love Bryce Dallas
Yeah,
Howard. I
and,
saw her in
uh,
a terrible movie on the plane, which
Yeah.
is Jurassic World:
Oh,
Fallen
oh,
Kingdom.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was so
Yeah.
bad.
Real poop show.
Cameron
bad.
walked
Cameron
by
just
just
went,
like,
That
was a bad
bad.
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
and then,
I love Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah,
I think
Bryce
she's
is great.
lovely.
I love watching interviews with her and Chris Pratt because
Yes.
like they have the most fun.
And she and the same reason I love Ron Howard. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love the Howard family. Like they're
Yeah.
just like they
Very
seem
humble,
like lovely.
like
people.
lovely
Like
people,
just
yeah.
And
happy
yes,
people.
and very
yeah.
talented and
Normal
very
people.
happy
know.
people.
Oh, happy
Yeah.
people.
Normal
Yeah.
happy people.
Not pee people.
Yeah.
Man, remember how stuck I was on Jurassic when we landed? I kept
You
talking.
could
I was
not
like,
stop talking
I was
about
like,
it.
I was
Fucking
like,
movie.
I was like, guys, what can they do for the next one?
Yeah.
We got to figure this
I,
out.
know, I think it was either me or him. We were just like, just kill everything.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Luckily, we were still in the airports. Otherwise, I would have said, Hector, shut up.
I
Look,
know.
we're in Prague. Stop
Yeah.
talking about it.
Like, oh, that's a nice castle, guys. What if in the sixth one? What if they bring in? What if? Oh man.
I don't
God.
know. What if another mega dinosaur?
What if it's about?
What if it's about a megalodon?
You know what? No. Remember what
Dinosaurs
I
that eat
landed on?
castles.
There's a viral thing that's happening today on Twitter where there's some footage of some asshole that shot an elephant,
Oh,
and then
right,
the rest
right.
of
Yes.
the rest of the herd starts
Yeah.
charging towards him. The next Jurassic movie should be about how it
Anti-poaching.
should be anti-poaching.
Yeah.
It should be about how that shit is evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it should be about how we get to a point where, the first Jurassic Park is like a zoo. Well, next to the San Diego Zoo, down in San Diego, there's the San Diego Wild Animal Park, which is a different
Love it.
type of,
Yeah.
it's a thing where you can go in a little car and see animals
Feed
in
the
these
rhinos.
feed
and-
the
Yeah.
in these
Yeah.
enclosures.
Kinda hot,
So
though.
maybe the next Jurassic should be here's my quick pitch is like they rounded up the dinosaurs and they put them on like now the billionaires are like, well, I want to hunt them.
Yeah.
And put them on this huge island
Yeah.
and set them free, and I want to hunt them. And because money can make you do anything, that it becomes a reality, and then Bryce Dallas Howard, Chris Pratt, whoever else, fucking Laura Dern shows up as an activist, and she's like, this is evil, this has to stop.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe the last dinosaurs die. But again, the whole theme of the movie is like, once that box has been opened, you can't put it back in. Even if Blue the raptor dies, somebody else is just going to make another fucking raptor. That's the point of how evil the game hunting like analogy would be, is that they would shoot a dinosaur and be like, all right, clone another one, like, because those rich assholes would do that. So that's what the movie should be about, something, as opposed to just being like a CG dinosaur monster movie. It should be fucking about something. And that was heartbreaking to see today. It's just an elephant gets shot. I was like, fuck, man. Like our friend Bob Chipman put on Twitter, he goes, don't show me a video where an elephant gets shot and the rest of the herd charges unless the herd is able to stomp those motherfuckers, and that's how that video ends. Like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it unless the poachers get killed because they're evil. So that's what the next one should be about.
Yeah, damn.
Agreed.
Well said.
What's the next tip there, Adam?
Blvd, thank you so much for the $5 tip. Glad you're all back. Just saying hi. About to watch Halloween for the first time and then seeing Halloween at midnight. Nice, man. Fiberific, thank you so much for the $20 tip as well. Welcome home, boys.
Thank you
so much.
Hopefully we'll go to Australia one day.
I know, we need to.
That would actually, let's set that as a goal in the next couple years.
We should set that as a goal. Hey, Lucas, you want to come live stream again?
Yeah.
Preston Bryan, thank you so much for the two $1.99 tips. Wow, not remembering the next day is a lot of sleep. Hector, that will happen. People have short memories. Yeah.
I think I was awake for my second day, but I don't remember any of it.
Dude, I don't know what's been happening since we've been back. Ulysses Valdez, thank you so much for the $4.99 tip. Just wanted to show some love from Nashville. Been watching you guys for years. First time I'm awake this late to watch live.
They don't do that in Nashville?
No.
I'm sure somebody does that in Nashville.
They got some good barbecue. Send some barbecue.
In any case, thank you.
Please send some barbecue.
Thank you.
Micah Saylor, thank you so much for the $10 tip. I've been a fan of you guys since your Age of Ultron trailer reaction. That is old school. That is 2015.
2015, maybe 2014.
And I'm finally awake enough to experience the live stream for the first time. Love y'all's passion. Keep it up, super friends. Thanks you so
for joining.
Much. But other than that, I mean, that's kind of it. We kind of sped through some of the stuff.
Yeah, because you have to go watch a movie.
We do, and plus, like, a lot of the stuff that was announced or talked about or whatever.
We're late.
We're late, but also like, there's not a whole lot of in-depth conversations to have. I think we really talked about the stuff in depth that would need to be talked about in depth, and we're still catching up. Like, we still haven't seen Venom. We can't talk about it because we haven't seen it yet.
Nope.
Haven't caught up on any of the CW shows because they've just premiered and we literally just got here.
You still have to watch Titans.
I do. I have to actually stay awake through Titans. So just a lot's been going on. We've been gone for half the month. We left literally the first day of the month, and we've been gone the whole time. But thank you. We ran into Lucas and I ran into someone. His name was Chris. When we were in Prague, we were walking from the cafe where we had breakfast.
Right. No
we
way.
were walking back to the Airbnb, and he's like, "Hey, Hyper RPG."
Oh my god.
Yeah. So we took a picture. So shout out to Chris. And
we also got recognized by Lee at the airport.
Oh, that's right.
Remember at the airport, that guy who stopped us? He was like,
Heathrow.
I know you from somewhere at Heathrow. That was pretty cool.
And then who was the young guy in Budapest who saw us and didn't say hi, and I gave him shit.
Oh, that's right. We were.
How dare you not say hi?
We were.
That was
that Budapest?
It wasn't
random.
Budapest.
That was at the castle.
It was at the castle.
Yeah. It was at the castle on the top of the hill after the funicular.
Yeah.
You and I remember Budapest very
differently.
Very differently.
So yeah, we were looking for you, but we couldn't find you. So,
yeah. But we had it was nice to sort of get away. I think we did some live streaming and stuff, which I think we're gonna put that stuff on YouTube. The chat room, you guys were all great. You guys were so supportive of us. We got to do so much cool shit because of you guys.
Many beers.
So many beers. We got to do a beer bike tour. We got to take a boat ride through Prague.
It was great.
It was really, really fun. So thank you guys for all your guys' support.
I really wish we could have streamed that the bumper car ride though.
Oh, I know.
That was amazing.
I know. Yeah, we went to Oktoberfest. We rode some bumper cars. It was a shit show, and I loved it.
I'll never forget the bumper cars. When we were doing it, Lucas ran into me, and he was just yelling, "Carnage! Carnage!" And I was like, it just made me bust up laughing. I was like, what the fuck? What are you talking? I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, "Carnage!"
It was fun. No, we had a great time. If you guys want to check that stuff out, you can actually watch it on Twitch. If you just go to twitch.tv/hyperrpg, you can go to the previous broadcast. It's all available on there. We streamed 8 to 12 hours a day. We streamed a lot.
Of streaming,
so you can check that out. I think the plan is hopefully we'll be able to cut it down into segments segments for YouTube, so you guys can see kind of like what we did.
We really need to cut down the segment where Hector gets attacked by that bee.
That was bullshit, man. I was just trying to enjoy my crepe. I just wanted to eat my crepe.
If anybody in the chat room clip that, please send it on Twitter.
I bit
it
my
is the
plastic-
funniest fucking thing of my life.
I bit my plastic fork off while trying to eat this fucking crepe. That bee would not leave me alone.
No, bee,
I was laughing so hard I thought I was gonna die.
Dude, I was choking to
joke.
death. It was good. Hey man, you and bees, not friends.
No,
but
dude.
you and bread, y'all real friendly.
Yeah, good friends.
Bread and butter is my bread and butter, turns out. I love bread
Just
and
let
butter.
everybody know in one sentence of what you thought about Europe.
Bread.
Bread. That was
Bread.
it.
Bread is good.
Yeah.
Bread is good.
And
Delicious
jam.
bread.
And
Yeah,
jam.
no, it was fun. It was fun. Lucas came with us. He had to leave not halfway, maybe like a
Like
two-thirds of the
like
way.
a 2/3 of the way.
two-thirds of the way
in,
into
yeah,
the trip.
but
He had to
still.
come back to America, but
It
overall it was a lot of
great.
fun. We're just still trying to recuperate, and we're all super tired. So hopefully
Yeah.
next week we'll be a little bit more
Chipper.
chipper. And that's it.
Let's call it.
That's the show.
Let's call it. We're done, guys.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for being in the chat room. We will catch you next week. We'll talk about Titans, and I'll hopefully be awake,
Yeah.
and I'll stay up through the whole
Yeah.
show, I promise.
Mhm.
Bye.